Okay, so before the video starts, I wanted to add a little footnote here, if you will. Everything you're about to see was filmed yesterday, January 23rd, and I had full intent on having this video come out yesterday. However, the channel who uploaded the Morris Costumes animatronic demos, who shall remain nameless, decided to start putting some copyright strikes on my fellow creators who are doing videos with these Morris Costumes animatronic demos. So I was kind of in a pinch yesterday because I spent hours editing a full video that then had to be scrapped and re-edited with some new footage to make sure that I did not get a copyright strike. So full credit goes to LMJ Halloween for providing me, along with the entire community, with some Halloween Party Expo footage of these Morris Costumes animatronics. Full and all credit goes to LMJ Halloween. Please go subscribe to them and go watch all their videos because they have really saved me in a pinch here when I didn't know what to do. So full credit goes to LMJ Halloween, and I could not thank them enough. But let's put all the drama behind us. Please sit back, relax, and enjoy the video. Morris Costumes 2024 animatronic demos are here. Let's take a look. For everything scary, I'm GMHaunts, and welcome to part 2 of the Morris Costumes 2024 animatronic lineup. Well, ladies and gentlemen, just earlier today, I sat in this very same chair and we took a look at the first 2 videos posted by the official Morris Costumes Instagram account from their Halloween Party Expo booth. Now, just a couple of hours later, just as I predicted, we have gotten full demo videos of the 4 brand new animatronics from Morris Costumes that we have seen so far, but I don't want to waste any time. I know everyone is very, very excited to dive right into this, so let's take a look at the demos for the Morris Costumes 2024 animatronic lineup. Now, of course, the first new animatronic demo that we have to take a look at has to be the animatronic that is getting people the most talking, and that is the Sword Swallower. So here he is. Just earlier this morning, we saw this guy for the very first time in photos, and now just a couple of hours later, we are getting to see him in action. And just like I said earlier this morning, I think this guy is awesome. This guy's animation is basically exactly as I predicted it would be this morning. He has a simple hand pushing the sword down into his mouth, and I know I just called it simple, but it is definitely a very impressive animation to see on a retail level animatronic. While that sword is getting pushed into his mouth, we can actually see his opposite arm kind of moving up and down to make it look like he's trying to get the sword perfectly balanced within his throat, which I think was a nice touch, and I did not really think that we would see any animation with that other arm. Now, I will say this guy doesn't have a ton of animation. He only has those 2 arm movements, no side to side, nothing like that, which I think is actually pretty okay, because obviously the main focus is the fact that he's pushing the sword into his mouth, and that's the thing Morris Costumes wants you to notice when you walk up to this guy, so I feel like that's okay. But even more than the animation, I want to talk about the look of the Sword Swallower. I think this guy, and just like I suspected with the photos this morning, I think he looks tremendous. The detail on this guy's face is very, very good, and we can actually see now in this high quality video that he has blood all over his mouth and his lip area where he is pushing that sword in, which I think is a very little nice touch of detail to make it a little bit more gory and creepy that this guy is pushing the sword into his mouth. I think the entire skin tone of the face is very, very good, and like I already touched on, I think all the wrinkles in his face are just super realistic, and I love the overall sculpt we are seeing for the Sword Swallower. I think the sword itself has a nice look to it with those red gems in there as they add a little bit of color, and they also match very well with the red bow tie and red hat that the Sword Swallower has. And then once again, going along with the sculpt, I think the 2 hand sculpts are very, very good and have a lot of detail in there. We can safely assume that this guy is made by SVI, Seasonal Visions, per the look of this guy, and then especially the way the hands look. And like I said, overall, I think the look of this guy may even be a little bit better than the animation of him, because he's a very impressive looking animatronic and one that looks super realistic. And I said this in the video earlier this morning, but I love that Morris Costumes is venturing more into the freak show clown animatronics with Carnival Barker last year, who you can actually see set up right behind the Sword Swallower in the Morris Costumes booth. So I think it's cool to see Morris Costumes going more into the freak show style clowns instead of just doing copy and paste carnival animatronics like we're seeing from other Halloween companies. Now, one of the main things I want to talk about with the Sword Swallower is his wholesale price tag. Now, obviously, Morris Costumes, a wholesale company, so the prices you're going to see on their little price points attached to the animatronics are not the retail prices. These are the show prices for Party Expo and then Trans World, which is in March, and then during the Halloween Express sale or wherever these guys will be sold retail, you can expect the price tag to be around doubled because, again, these are the wholesale prices. The Sword Swallower will be wholesaling for $140.25. I know, kind of a weird price tag, but $140 I think that is an amazing price for this guy because, like I already said, the look of him is very, very good, and he's got that animation in there. So I feel like for a wholesale price tag, $140, you could not go wrong. So if you were attending Trans World in March, make sure to pick this guy up for the wholesale price of $140 because he's a very cool animatronic. But nonetheless, there is our first demo of the Morris Costumes 2024 Sword Swallower. Next up, we have my second favorite animatronic of the Morris Costumes lineup so far, and this is the Sideshow Balancing Clown. So like I just said, that is his official name, the Sideshow Balancing Clown. Earlier this morning, with the first photos that we got of this guy, I was calling him the Pogo Stick Clown, but now we have his official name, and just like I said earlier this morning, my opinion stays exactly the same. I think this is an awesome animatronic. First of all, the animation on this guy is awesome, and I actually predicted this morning that the Pogo Stick, again, I'm still gonna call it that, I know it's basically just a carnival stick. I thought the stick itself was going to go from side to side and the clown was going to stay static. However, as we can see now with this demo video we can see that the Pogo Stick, or the stick, actually stays completely static, and the thing that moves is the clown himself. We can see this very cool animation, and very unique animation, I should say, that there is a turning at the waist that makes it look like this clown is balancing on the pole. This is like nothing we have ever seen in the retail world of animatronics, and I love the concept of a clown that looks like he's going to topple onto you, because again, we have not seen that explored within the retail market. I think the look of this guy is simple, but it does well for itself, because again, I feel like something like this, it's more the animation that's the important thing, so the look doesn't matter as much. He has a red and yellow clown jumpsuit, and then one of his boots is kind of attached to that pole to keep him on there and to keep his figure where he is balancing on the pole. I will say the only thing that I think could have made this guy just a tad better and maybe a little bit more interesting is if you would have had some LCD eyes similar to how we saw on Carnival Barker. I feel like if SVI took the exact same digital LCD pattern that we saw on Carnival Barker and slapped it onto the Sideshow Balancing Clown, I feel like it would add just a tad more to this animatronic and really make him a perfect prop. Nonetheless, I think the yellow LED eyes are a minor thing. Again, it's very, very small. I think the animation for this guy is awesome. I really, really like it. And like I said, that is really because of the fact that we have never seen this done in a retail animatronic. And I just love the fact that he looks like he is going to fall down. I am so interested to see what the framing for this guy will look like up close when I am at Trans World, and I can take a look at this guy. I also want to see how you have to weight him down so that he doesn't fall over, because when he starts going, he really starts to like fall towards like the side of each side. So I'm curious to see how they're going to keep him where he doesn't fall over. Now, another thing that amazes me with the Sideshow Balancing Clown is his wholesale price. This guy will be wholesaling for only $115, which is crazy to me. I cannot believe that somehow Morris Costumes and SVI have gotten the wholesale down to only $115. That is a steal, an amazing price tag. And also, I do want to point out, earlier this morning, morning. Based on the photos, we did not know what his official height would be. However, we can see on the little price point that is attached to his stick with the price tag that the Sideshow Bouncing Clown is officially standing at 8 feet tall. So now we have an idea of how tall this guy is. He's just a foot taller than Carnival Barker was, which I think is awesome. He is even bigger than I expected. I said he was going to be like maybe 6 or 7 feet. So 8 feet tall is very, very impressive. And I am a big fan of the Sideshow Balancing Clown. Yet another very unique and awesome take on a clown animatronic coming to Morris Costumes for 2024. Next up, we have the demo video for an animatronic that has had people talking since this morning when the photos came out. This is the animated Grave Robber. Now, I'm not gonna lie, this one is not at the top of my list for Morris 2024, just because, in my opinion, he kind of looks a little bit comical. Like, I don't know, something about this guy is silly to me, and I think what it is the fact of how the body bag moves on his shoulder. I mean, it literally is hopping off his shoulder. Like, it's kind of funny. I know it's meant to mimic how a person would move around if they were being kidnapped and put in a body bag like this and being carried around by someone on their shoulder, but to me, it's a little bit too much movement. I feel like if the movement was slowed down and maybe like a lot more subtle movements, it would actually be a lot creepier, instead of what Morris Costumes and SVI, his manufacturer, went with for the Grave Robber, where the body bag basically just like hops up and down. It's kind of funny to me. I also am not a huge fan of the way the face looks on this, because again, it is just a typical SVI latex head. To me, seeing this demo video, he is basically the standard SVI prop, is the vibes that I am getting from him. But nonetheless, I know there are fans for him out there. I know a lot of people are interested to see him, just because we really don't see a lot of Grave Robber type animatronics within the retail market, especially with the last couple of years. But nonetheless, that is the Grave Robber. The animation is definitely an interesting choice, to say the least. His look is also very just kind of simplistic. We saw this in the photos this morning, but he is basically just in all black clothing and with a black hat on. And then again, like I already said, that typical SCI latex face. Unfortunately, we do not know what this guy's wholesale price is going to be just yet. At least I can't see it in this demo video, so hopefully we find that out soon. But based off the other two props that we talked about already, I'm sure it's not going to be that much, because the wholesale prices from Morris this year have been very strong with the two clowns we just took a look at. But nonetheless, there is the new for 2024 SVI Morris Costumes Grave Robber. Now, the next animatronic comes to us from Lord Grimley's Manor over on Instagram. Lord Grimley, so full credit goes to them for what I am about to show you. But this is the Scarecrow animatronic that we saw in the photos earlier this morning. And it actually does look like that this is a full static prop. I kind of predicted this morning that he would have a drop-down animation or something, honestly. I was really not expecting for him to be a static prop, but I actually think he is a good static prop. We can see now in high quality that he also does have a crow on his arm, which I feel like was a nice touch for a Scarecrow and adds just a little bit more to him, because obviously he is definitely more on the simple side and typical side for a Scarecrow, so I think the crow adds just a little bit more to him. And the crow actually does have a set of red LED eyes, it seems, with the Scarecrow having yellow LED eyes. Nonetheless, again, it's just a static prop, not a ton to write home about with this one. We have no idea what the wholesale price is going to be. Again, I can't see the sticker. It's probably there, but I can't see it in this video from Lord Grimley. Well, ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. All 4 of the animatronic demos that we have as of the current moment for Morris Costumes 2024. Now, like I said, all the way back in the morning with my first video, I kind of suspect that there are more animatronics in the Morris lineup this year, because so far we've only seen 4 of them, and Morris typically does more like 10 animatronics. However, we have seen in the past that there are more animatronics brought to Transworld than we see at just the Halloween Party Expo, and I actually will be at Transworld once again in March, so that will be a little bit of fun content for me to provide on my channel if Morris Costumes does have some more animatronics to be shown off at Transworld. But nonetheless, those are the 4 animatronics that we have so far. I think the lineup is pretty solid this year, and definitely my 2 favorites so far are the Sword Swallower and the Sideshow Balancing Clown. I feel like they are both very unique for clown animatronics, and both I have my eye on for ordering at Transworld. But I guess, remember, as always, for everything scary, I'm GMHaunts. Also, guys, that is for more Morris Costumes 2024 videos. Goodbye.